All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another quick post-fight discussion video. All right, y'all, let's talk about it. Angela Hill versus Denise Gomes. All right, y'all, once again, man, Angela Hill, she's right back to it, right back to taking these girls to school. Part of me knew this was going to happen, but I was hoping that we had a new face in the division. But once again, there's work to be done for these new strawweights. There's work to be done for Denise Gomes. The thing is, man, these girls, these unranked girls, they're still finding their skills. They're still finding their skills. And a lot of these girls, they want to be on top. So I think sometimes they're kind of rushing it, but they don't understand, they're not well-rounded enough yet. No, they're learning different skill sets, but there's more to it. You gotta learn how to make adjustments on the fly. You just can't depend on one or two things, So while some of these other girls at the bottom, they're still trying to find themselves. In the meantime, you got a fighter like Angela Hill, who's been around for years. She's slowly improving. Maybe not enough to be top 5, but just enough to stop these other girls from getting to the top and just enough to crush some dreams. So I'm going to start calling Angela Hill the dream crusher, right? Because Angela Hill, her striking and her movement, it's already enough of a nuisance for these strawweights. But now her clinch game and her ground game is starting to be a problem. All right. And Gomes, she found that out real quick. And if you don't rush Angela Hill and stay on her, you're going to have a long night. All right, you're going to have a long night. Hill took away Gomes' space. She crowded her, and she wore her down, and she made her miss bad from a distance. The striking difference, you could say, was Gomes' fault because she was always looking for the big shot. And once again, what do I always say? What's my favorite punch? Especially for these punches, what they need to be doing? Using that jab. And Denise Gomes was not using a jab at all in this fight. She was really fighting like a heavy-handed fighter. Like her hands were weighing her down, and she was just trying to swing for the big punches. That was it. She wasn't really light on her feet. She wasn't flicking out any feelers. She wasn't doing any of that. She was loading up big left hooks, leading with right uppercuts, right hands, doing all of this big stuff where Angela Hill seen these shots coming. So Angela Hill, all she had to do was duck, come back with her own overhand right, or go straight into the fire, into the clinch, and just smother Denise Gomes. I mean, a lot of this was just striking 101. It was just stand up 101. Angela Hill's been here time and time again, Muay Thai background. So, her clinch game is going to be better. But what I was really impressed with was what her wrestling, her defensive grappling looked like on the ground. She was really turning it into some really good, just really good ground control time for Angela Hill throughout this fight. I mean, the first round was really close, in my opinion. It could have gone either way. But you could see Hill was giving Gomes some issues right away. Hill came right in, pushed Gomes off balance. She went down, took the fight to the cage, using her knees to the body, good head control. Her Muay Thai, like I said, is levels above a lot of these young girls. And that's some Gomes, she couldn't really handle. She couldn't handle that type of physical pace. She wants the big punches. But Hill, she was in charge. She was reversing takedowns, putting her weight on Gomes, laying on her back. Just taking her back, using some good grappling skills here. The fast pace from Hill, I don't think Gomes, she wasn't really ready for that. She thought it was just going to be like a straightforward fight, and Gomes could land some big power punches and let that be it. And she landed a few big power punches in this round, but, Hill, if you don't follow up and do something devastating or something new, Hill, her chin's going to hold up. Her chin's like stone. She knows how to take these punches. She knows how to recover. And again, she goes right back to the inside, just fighting that good inside fight, overwhelming Gomes. From a range, Hill used the teep kicks, stay away from the right hand. Gomes' takedown, her takedown attempts, they were pretty much nullified except for one. And the one moment where she probably had like the most scariest moment on Angela Hill was probably that Kimura attempt where she was on top. But that wasn't enough to win the round, in my opinion. Gomes, man, this girl, she wants to land these big shots even in the second round, but she was not using her jab. She was not using the jab to set these punches up. You got to use the jab to set these right hands up because Gomes, she's telegraphing those rights. So Hill was able to come back with her own overhand rights because, she's much slicker. She can see the body language of Denise Gomes and what she's going to throw. So when she's positioning herself to load up, boom, Angela Hill's catching her. Gomes, you see every shot coming. So leading with that power hand is just not a good idea. So Hill, she's landing left hooks and right hands throughout the second round. Gomes, she lands a few right hands again, but she really can't get any force behind these shots because, Hill keeps on moving. She keeps on moving and taking the power away. So round two, again, stand-up clinic from Angela Hill. Last round, though, Gomes, she went right in. Still not setting up punches with the simple jab. She came right in with urgency, hit Hill with some big right hands again. But Hill, she's an expert, man. She's an expert with with these wild rushes. She came right back with her own strikes, keeping her balance and just really taking away the footwork of Gomes. Hill, she's taking Gomes down, over and over throughout this fight. It was a big surprise. And you really see this is what Angela Hill's been working on. Like, you can tell that she's taking her fight IQ to another level and that she's serious about it. Because some fighters, they'll just say, okay, I don't need to know this, I don't need to know that. But the way she's been slowly improving, that's what you want. That's what you want to do to get better. She's not a submission specialist, but her work on the ground, it's really wrestling based. And that works for her because she's got a good gas tank and she has that physical strength. So, she's finally taking advantage of her body. You know what I mean? Like, she has the gas tank and, she's got that physical strength. So now she's wrestling more. Gomes really couldn't do anything against the cage. She really couldn't do anything against the cage throughout this round because that's where it stayed the most of the round. Hill just latched on, just kept smothering and mauling Gomes. Gomes really looked frustrated and she just was stuck, in that position. She couldn't get her off. And going back to the stand-up game from her range, she was throwing off the mark with those left hooks over and over again, just missing with these big power shots. And this was just another round I had to give the Hill, man. This was just going to show you that you've got to come in here with more than one specialty nowadays. That's how it is. Even Angela Hill's starting to understand that. She just can't come in as a stand-up artist. She's got to work on her ground game, and she's been doing that. So 30-27, I had it for Angela Hill. I think that, she's getting better as a fighter. And I can also say this is just proof that Mackenzie Dern is improving in the right areas. Because, Mackenzie Dern, what she did to Angela Hill just showed you that she proved that she's next level. All right. So that's what it's about, man. It's about leveling up in these fights. I'm going to say it again and again. You got to make adjustments in these fights. You got to be well-rounded. Can't depend on power. And you got to use that jab. You ain't going to go in here and knock a fighter out like Angela Hill unless you got a good jab to set these punches up with. All right. So moving on from Hill, Denise Gomes, back to the drawing board big time. She's got to get a good boxing coach, good striking coach that's going to teach her how to throw at different rhythms, much like Amanda Lemos needs to work on. This is a sign. This is the perfect sign. She's getting it right now. She just got taken to school, so she's got to work on it. She can't keep on going in there believing in it, over believing in that power. It's going to take more than that. All right. So for Denise Gomes, she got to go back to the drawing board, get another boxing coach and striking coach. I think they can really help her throw at these different paces and rhythms, and continue to fight on the underground realm for right now. As for Angela Hill, she's ready to fight anybody. She's 16-13 still, 16-13 now. And she's still, holding her place at the number 12 spot. So, she said, I'll fight anybody, as long as I'm getting paid. She wants rematches because that's basically what everything is for her right now. Everybody's a rematch for her. So, she wants to either fight Amanda Lemos or Michelle Waterson. She wants to get that fight back, which I think at this point she might get Angela Hill might get the Michelle Waterson fight rematch. She would get the win if it happened, but it's not really what I want to see. But the Amanda Lemos fight, it kind of sounds interesting. But, Amanda Lemos is up in that top 5 realm now. I don't know if they would risk putting her back down there because that would be a high risk, low reward for Amanda Lemos. But for Angela Hill, if she was able to go in there and beat Amanda Lemos, that would put her in a place where she's never been before, up in that title talk, right? So I kind of want to see it for Angela Hill's sake because, we never seen her fight that high and get to that level. And Amanda Lemos is a fighter that she could possibly beat. I think Lemos beat her the first time, but there was definitely openings in there where Hill could win the fight. And I think if Hill takes this type of approach in this fight against Lemos this go round, she could win it for sure. But this is another thing about levels, man. It just shows you Angela Hill is that gatekeeper, and you'll learn a lot about yourself when you take her on in the cage, what you need to work on or where you exceed. Because fighters like Dern, fighters like Rose, and fighters like Rand in the past, they were able to beat Angela Hill, and that kind of shows you where they stood as fighters, like where they could go. Well, Rand not so much because she's not there anymore, but like fighters like Rose, fighters like Mackenzie Dern, fighters like Andrade, they could get past that level. But fighters like Lupi, fighters like Denise Gomes here, you know, you start to see where they're falling short at, right? If you can't get past the Angela Hill test, then that means you got some work to do, right? You got some work to do big time. So it's not over for Gomes. It's definitely not over for Gomes. I think, you know, she just needs to go back to the drawing board, fight a little bit more patient, work on her striking, and, you know, just kind of flesh that out for her future. Angela Hill, on the other hand, you know, she's that veteran, man. She's that Emmanuel Augustus of the women's strawweight division, and I think that she's going to continue to be that test. You know, she's tough, durable, and improving just enough to continue to take these girls to school. What's next for her? Possibly a Lemos rematch, Waterson rematch, but I still like to see that Karolina Kowalkiewicz fight. That's not a bad one, guys. But let me know what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.